In the last episode, I introduced the idea of intelligent organizations. Now I want to make that idea tangible. Because once you move past the theory, one thing becomes immediately clear. The traditional org chart is no longer a useful map of how work actually happens. Org charts describe reporting lines. They do not describe decision flow. And in an AI-driven environment, decision flow is everything. Intelligent organizations are built around three interacting layers: humans, agents, and control planes. Let me unpack each one. First, humans. In intelligent organizations, humans remain essential, but their role changes. They are no longer expected to monitor everything or decide everything. Instead, they operate at higher levels of abstraction. Humans define intent. They set priorities. They determine values, boundaries, and trade-offs. Most importantly, humans decide what problems are worth solving. That may sound obvious, but it's actually the hardest part of leadership. And it's the part machines cannot do well. Next, agents. Agents are not chatbots. They are not scripts. They are not automation in the traditional sense. Agents are systems designed to observe, reason, plan, and act across multiple steps toward a defined objective. They don't wait to be prompted. They operate continuously. Agents handle sensing, pattern detection, optimization, and execution at speeds and scales no human team can match. They test, they adjust, they learn, and they act again. This is where many organizations get uncomfortable. Because once agents are acting, control becomes a design problem, not a managerial one. Which brings us to the third layer, control planes. Control planes are the least understood and most critical component of intelligent organizations. They define what agents are allowed to do, when they must escalate, how decisions are logged, audited, and reversed, and who ultimately retains authority when outcomes matter. In traditional organizations, control is embedded in hierarchy. In intelligent organizations, control is embedded in architecture. That shift is subtle but profound, because when control is architectural, speed and safety no longer trade off. They reinforce each other, if designed correctly. Most companies experimenting with agents today are missing this layer entirely. They deploy agents inside functions, but they don't build cross-functional control planes. The result is predictable: shadow automation, conflicting decisions, unclear accountability, and eventually a pullback driven by fear rather than insight. Intelligent organizations do the opposite. They assume autonomy will increase, and they design for it up front. They treat governance as a system. They treat oversight as a product, and they treat leadership as orchestration, not supervision. This is why I often say the future of leadership looks less like command and control and more like intent and constraints. You don't tell the system exactly what to do. You tell it what matters, what's off limits, and how to know when it's wrong. That's very different leadership posture. And it's the one most executives were never trained for. So in the next episode, I want to explore what this means specifically for marketing, because marketing is often the first function where intelligent organization principles either unlock massive leverage or expose deep organizational fragility. Once you see that pattern, you start to recognize it everywhere.